Welcome everybody to another night of Pro League live at the Nexon Arena. My name is Valdez. Joining me today is Moonglade. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Valdez. Another great day here at Pro League. It's going to be Samsung versus Prime to start things off. Not the strongest team today, Valdez, but I still think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day. Not the highest quality matches we get here. If you guys are looking for that, definitely tune in tomorrow as well. A lot of the head teams going head-to-head there, but Samsung versus Prime, we'll see if Prime can dig themselves out of the hole they've already dug for themselves, and if Samsung Galaxy Con can get an easy 3-0.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what they'll be looking for today. Prime, undoubtedly at this point, the weakest team by far in this league. Only 4 of them? I thought there was 5, Valdez. I guess
No,
there's 4.
I know Gerard looks like a player, but he's not playing today.
I know he plays in some online team leagues, actually, so sometimes if he has to, he'll step up.
Maybe he will tonight. He'll jump into that ace match when they need him most.
Until then, it's going to be Deer versus Tang Tang that start things up.
And that's really the question. Can they even get it to an ace match? Because so far here in round 3, it's been their worst round. They've gone 0-3, 3 games in a row. We saw Creator ball his eyes out, the most emotional I've ever seen him in the last game when he got bopped by Maru.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising as well because it is Maru after all. If you're going to take a loss from anyone, it might as well be Maru. It's going to be like the best Karen in the world beating you down. I don't know. He's become more and more emotional at this point, and it's definitely a massive disadvantage because luckily for him it is a best of 1, so he can come into it, feeling pretty okay. But if you're gonna fall to bits after a game, man, and it's bad for team morale as well.
Oh, of course. I think that was the first game the other day too, so it did not help out that team. And I think for him at this point, it's just he keeps on losing over and over, except to Zest in those PvPs. So he's just like, he's putting so much pressure on himself, especially because he was the carry for them last year. But this year, he's just totally dropped the ball. And it's kind of sad to see.
He's lost the plot, man. His mental state is so fragile at this point, and we'll see how he holds up again today because he'll definitely be playing today.
Well, no, he's in that 4th match, so let's see if we even get to that 4th match.
Whoa, I dropped the ball there. Well, I mean, looking at the first 3 matches, oh, man, I guess Yoda has to win out of these guys, but I don't know what other players have a chance as we look at the lineup right now. Deer versus Tang Tang, Hurricane versus Keen, and then Journey versus Yoda. I think Yoda has the best shot out of these 3. Let's see what Tang Tang can do. He could throw out some cheese, maybe bust something out there, but it's going to be a hard match for Prime.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I mean, Deer looked pretty good in his last game. He's known as this guy who's kind of inconsistent out here. I think he holds pretty much just a 50% win ratio across this season of Pro League at least. Hurricane, he was looking good earlier on in Pro League, but now he's kind of fallen off, gets that downward purple arrow. Keen was looking okay.
He's looking aight, but
he's all right. But at the
aight.
same time, I would definitely favor Hurricane in that match. So I'm with you on this one. I think Yoda's their guy.
Well, I mean, think of the last time we saw Keen against the Protoss. It was SOS, and SOS kind of made a made a shameful game of it all. Like he just dominated him completely and drew out the game, and it was painful to watch. So.
That was after the Creator game, by the way, so it did not make that night any better for Prime.
No, not at all.
And going into team rankings here, SK Telecom T1 looking fantastic this time around for round 3. Up on top, they've got 3-0. Spenu also coming in here for round 3. They're 2-1, tied with KT there for 2nd place.
Yeah, KT not doing too bad this round either. They definitely have had some pretty disappointing rounds earlier this year. And Jinair, surprisingly at 4th place, they were doing so well last round. And then you got the bottom 4 teams. CJ somehow ranked 5th right now. I think that was definitely up their game. See if they can do it tomorrow. It's going to be a hard one.
That's the big surprise for me, man. They looked so strong, so solid. They almost went undefeated in round 2, and I think they took their last loss against Jinair. But this time they're 1-2, which is just really surprising.
Yep, well, have a look at the winner rankings. Maru and Hero up in top. Not a surprise there, both aces for their teams. They get a lot of playtime and a lot of wins.
Yeah. Other players up there, Stats and Biel recently getting knocked out of Star League by Classic. We were watching some of those replays before this cast. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, that was a beatdown. That was kind of
scary.
I don't think we've ever seen Biel lose that badly. Well, I take that back. We saw him lose that badly to CJ Hero, actually, in the Kesper Cup. But besides that, it's kind of sad where is ZVP is at right now.
Look at this first entry without a Zerg player since March 25th of 2014.
Wow.
And Prime in a slump with 1-9 in recent 10 games of the third round.
Wow, I didn't know it was that bad, but oh man, yeah, Prime, they're in a bad place.
Yeah. Let's see if they can turn it around today. Samsung not doing so well this season, but looking Prime to take this one as well. Let's jump into the coach interview and see what both these teams have to say.
안녕하세요.
네. 자, 먼저 박예식 감독님께 궁금한 점을 묻도록 하겠습니다.
We're
이번
going to be talking to Gerard first.
4주차에는 상당히 테란들이 많아요. 그리고 저그들이 상당히 적은데 오늘 프라임 역시도 3명의 테란이 출전하게 됐습니다.
Put out a lot
이번
of
주
Terrans
전체적으로 테란이 많고
out
또 오늘
for the
프라임에도
third
3명의
matchup,
테란이
for the third
있는
round.
큰 이유라도 있을까요?
일단 저 이번 주에 저희
Is there any reason behind that?
중국에서 이번에 영입한 선수들이 그 비자 문제 때문에 이제 약간 중국으로 이제 다시 갔다가 오는 기간이라 저희 쪽에 지금 테란 선수들이 나왔는데
The Chinese player had to leave because of a visa problem. They're going to be able to come back next week to play. So they were lacking some players in their roster.
네. 자, 프라임 쪽은
And
이
so they
중국
just sent out the players that are
선수들이
doing the
오고 있는
best in the team house right
저그가
now.
없는 부분이 또 있겠고 그렇다면 이 삼성 쪽에서는 저그 선수들이 엔트리에 들어가지 못한 이유가 있을까요?
아시다시피 저희 팀 저그가 지금 성적이 안
Why didn't you send any Zerg players?
민수의 성적이 안
And
좋기
Stork says their Zerg players are not doing very well, as you guys all know.
네.
So he felt like they needed to rest, they needed to practice a bit.
프라임이 이제 터질 때가 됐거든요. 지금
And that's why we didn't put out any Zergs today.
프라임 쪽에서 삼성은 재물로 1승을 거둘 수 있는 이런 가능성들이 좀 열리고 있는데 오늘 그 프라임의 전력에 대해서 송병구 선수의 생각은 어떠십니까?
How do you think about the skill level of Prime right now?
팀이 성적이 안 좋지만 저희
Loaded
팀도
question.
Very controversial.
성적이 안
Prime is not doing well
좋기
recently,
때문에 방심하지
but
않고
our team is
열심히
also
준비를 했고요.
not doing so well.
2라운드 때 저희 팀이 다 이겼었기
We don't look
때문에
down on our
그걸
opponents.
가지고 오늘도 이길 수 있도록
We
열심히
practice as we always do, and we're going to try our best to win today.
1세트에 출전한 김동진 선수의 그 가능성에 대해서 저는 개인적으로 되게 좀 긍정적으로
What's the
바라보고
potential of
있는데
Tang Tang
김동진 선수 어떤
leading the way in the first set?
정말 꾸준히 착실하게 연습.
Explain what kind of player he is.
어제
He's a player that practices really hard.
한 번만 1승만 거두면은 정말 크게
He needs to gain more experience in broadcast matches.
네.
If he can get a
자,
win
그
in
가능성이
the
있는
broadcast
김동진 선수가
match,
오늘 또 첫 세트에
he's gonna have a
백동준
great
선수를
season.
만나게 됐는데 오늘 그 선수들뿐만 아니라 양팀 감독님이 속한 양 팀에서 멋진 경기를 펼쳐주시길 바라겠습니다. 오늘 인터뷰 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
And that was the
자, 오늘
interviews.
첫 경기
Start
바로
things off,
백동준
Valdez.
선수와
Yeah.
김동진 선수가 경기를 코너에서
Well, Tang Tang practicing a lot in that house. Would be very excited to see him do well. Prime is in dire need of someone to carry their team right now.
Yeah, they need a hero right now, man. They got to start getting wins on the board because they're looking pretty hopeless this round already. I'm kind of scared for it. I really want this team to start picking it up and doing well, but I don't know. They don't have the morale there. They don't have the practice regime. Perhaps something goes on in that house that we're not aware of, Valdez.
Yeah.
Or maybe a lack thereof goes on in that house.
Yeah, could be. We really don't know. We're only looking from the outside. And Prime, you could say their entire team is in a slump. There's not one player that's playing well, but let's see if Tang Tang can turn it around here against Deer. Deer is known to, sometimes drop games against players that he should be beating.
Yeah, that is definitely one thing going for Tang Tang.
But let's see the predictions. Regardless, everybody votes for Deer, and I don't think that's too surprising, Lid.
No, not too surprising at all. Deer is just on a whole nother level. Tang Tang hasn't really proven himself yet. He's a player that someone like Moonglade used to beat on the ladder.
Yeah, man.
And when that happens, you know something's going on.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen him that much in Pro League, so let's give him a chance here. It's been a long time since he's kind of been in Prime, and he's been practicing in that house. So
Yeah, he's speaking about how very not often he's not coming out here. He played once in round 1 and played once in round 2, and that was it. Took a loss in both of those games, but like the coach said, we really just need to see more of this player and need to see if he can keep up with the big boys.
Yep, speaking of a big boy, this is Deer, and his stats aren't too bad so far. 9-7 this season. And this player has a lot of potential. He does a lot of good work, but he's also one of the most inconsistent players we have.
I feel like sometimes he comes in and he plays a little bit nervous and scared, but other days he comes in and he smashes his opponent, and I can't seem to put my finger on what exactly what kind of player this guy really is, because he surprises me in good and bad ways very often.
Yeah, that's right. And looking at his stats in recent times, the last 3 Terrans he did play in Pro League, he lost to, which is Beyond, Sky High, and Flash. It's kind of a bad sign going into this, but this is a much lesser of a Terran player than these guys.
Oh, baby, Moonblade.
I love this song, man. Fantastic.
Well, Tang Tang's got one thing going for him. He's got a better song.
He's got a better song. He's got a better name.
Oh, yes, that's for sure.
I love the name Tang Tang.
You got to get that Tang Tang in there, man.
Yeah. Big fan. And he's lost 1 game so far this season. Oh, was it season or round? I think it might have been round.
This round.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. 1 in round 1, 1 in round 2, none for round 3 just yet. This is his first game for round 3. We'll see what he can do
that
here.
flew by me, Valdez.
Well, we're about to jump into game number 1 here, guys. It's going to be between Deer and Tang Tang. The map is going to be Coda, 2-player map. We're going to see who can get on the board first for each of their teams.
Yep. Tang Tang. Let's see, Valdez. We're going to start the games now. Don't ever let me host, Valdez.
Yeah, man, you get 2 thumbs up for that introduction. Here's Deer, by the way, in the bottom right, in the blue.
And up here in the top left, we got the purple Terran player, Tang Tang. Now, I was going to say, Tang Tang looks mighty young, Valdez, before. Because we had to buy like a little bit more time in that intro before instantly decided to start the game on us. I was like, man, he's such a young player still. And that's one thing that Prime always seems to have. These very young players.
Yeah, they really do. They're trying to, well, hold that thought. We're going to see a proxy here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a 1-gate proxy from this angle. It's going to be pretty close.
It's pretty close, but it's not too close.
Whoa. You're gonna shoot.
Where is that gun pointing at?
You going to shoot that innocent kitten?
That's really mean.
Oh, what is that? What is that thing she's got? I want that. All right, let's see.
The onion, or
I want the onion, Valdez. I'm hungry. I need some vegetables, man.
Oh man.
All right, so 1-gate, and I guess it'll be a Cybercore after that, because I don't know what one Zealot's going to do, but maybe he's like banking on it's going to be a CC first, and from there he can apply pressure with very early Zealots. But it's not going to be that at all. It's going to be a Reaper opening from Tang Tang.
Yeah. We're going to need to see some decent micro out of Tang Tang, try to keep his SCVs alive. But once he gets that Reaper out, he should be just fine. Especially just given the build that Deer has gone for. I suppose he could go for, a very fast Cybercore as well.
I feel like that's probably the follow-up from this, right? Because it is 1-gate. We are seeing that assimilator after that. So maybe a second pile in the main. He's going to throw down that Cybercore. And from there, he gets some Stalkers out, applies the pressure more. It's going to be up to Tang Tang to kind of deal with the situation. He's going to miss it. Some nice placement with the gateway.
Yeah, very nice placement. Also, this kind of thing just doesn't really happen that often, so I'm sure Tang Tang is not really going to expect it. He's going to be very safe with this scout, though, so he's going to get to the base of the Protoss very early with that SCV. He's going to see that not much is there. There's no gateway there. Something's wrong.
Yeah, something's going on.
He should be able to scout this down, or at least see the Zealot coming into his base.
Yeah, this is kind of a fantastic idea that you would want to do against a pretty inexperienced player, especially in the booth. You start applying this pressure and see how their damage control is, essentially, because they could just flip out. Ooh, but it looks like he's going to straight up block the ramp, so very smart from Tang Tang.
Yeah. We're going to see 2 Zealots and a Stalker, though, so there are going to be a lot of units out here, but at the same time, Tang Tang is just sending that Reaper straight to the base of the Protoss. There's going to be nothing here to defend.
Nothing at all. It's going to possibly do a lot of work. The 2 Zealots might force him back. Nope. Going to keep it going, but Mothership Core should be coming out soon. And that should be more than enough to get rid of this Reaper. Unless he loses the Reaper to Probes. Oh, no.
And he loses the bunker at the same time. Taking a lot of these Zealot hits now with his SCVs. Trying to get that bunker started, but now with 2 Zealots still alive and the Stalker.
Wow. Look at the micro on these Zealots. That is impressive. Both in the red. One sitting at 1 HP, the other at 7.
Pretty unreal right now. And the pressure is only going to continue. We got another Stalker on the way. And now the Zealots, they've gotten their shields back a little bit. One will go down, but still a ton of damage being done. Look at the worker count right now. It's 20-9.
Wow. Just complete domination already from the Samsung player. I mean, what can he possibly do from here after losing that? It's not like he made an early second CC. He's got mules to try and catch up, and he's got a factory tech going into that starport as well, but I don't know if it's ever going to be enough now.
Yeah, look at this. You get the Mothership Core over here for that high ground vision, start poking at the supply depots. And you can get this one, you can get the other one as well. Maybe even supply block Tang Tang, force him to put more minerals in. Just be very safe with this, do the damage you can, put down an expansion back at home, and just continue applying pressure.
Biggest mistake was losing that Reaper to probes, man, because if he had that and he saw the Mothership come out, he could just run it away, then come back later when the Mothership makes its way up, and he would have had this serious damage.
Oh boy.
Oh, he loses that.
Too aggressive with the Unimine.
Oh, way too much.
It's too much DPS. And Deer at this point, it looks like he may just back off. You know, he's got that expansion coming up. He's just going to play it safe. He's going to put down a robotics facility, make sure he has that detection for the Widowmine drops, and just defend and just get farther and farther ahead.
Just deflect everything from this point on, and it's essentially no way you could lose the game, fellas. You're just that much further ahead of economy more than anything else. 25 probes to 13 SCVs right now.
Yeah. And again, not even like a quicker orbital here. There's no double mules coming out of Tang Tang. He's only got one.
Yeah, it's a hard situation. He's going to have to find some real damage with this mine drop. If he doesn't find it here, I don't know if he'll ever find his way back into this game. There's going to be observers out as well, so it's going to be a hard drop.
At the same time, Deer, he's left most of his probes in the main, so he can just photon overcharge there. He's just being very, very safe. He's correctly identified that he is very far ahead, and he just has to take no damage from this, and he should be fine.
Well, it's going to be spotted by that observer. Deer spots it. He knows exactly what's going on. Not even going to commit to a photon overcharge. Just yet, at least.
Drop is going to come in the natural here, but an instant pull from Deer. He's only going to lose one probe. And the Stalkers here should focus down these Marines. A lot of Stalkers here, in fact. And that medevac getting so low, he moves it back straight into the Stalker fire. He loses the medevac and all those Marines.
We got 4 probes for it, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Yeah. Down goes the mine.
And you already can tell. Oh, man, GG's out.
Wow.
Doesn't even want to play it out. And there you go. Deer takes the first game with a proxy gate and too much pressure for Tang Tang to handle.
See, that was the one thing I was thinking about when we saw it come out. He's just going to apply pressure to this very inexperienced young player. He almost had the counter down, like the reaction was right, block the ramp, start making Marines, but he lost the Reaper. And if you lose the Reaper, the Mothership Core can make its way across the map, and he's not going to lose any probes from it.
Very true. So, Deer doing his job, Tang Tang. I guess he just needs more experience. We need to see him more times. He needs to shake off some of those nerves. And I would have liked to see him even play that game out just to get a little bit more used to the booth. You know what I'm saying? He was, don't get me wrong, he was so far behind. There was like a 1% chance he could win that game. But even so, you know, you got to stay in there, try to feel a little bit more comfortable. But I can understand at the same time. He's probably not very happy.
Yeah, it's kind of like a place of like morale as well, I guess, you go into when you think about it in a sort of a team perspective. Like if you just stay in the game, just losing game, you slowly die. They do like a ceremony on you, like put down a couple of Nexus, like your team probably comes to the next game just like pretty demoralized. Better to like cut it off there, stop the pain, and just keep going.
I guess that's true.
But I don't know if he would actually be thinking that. He's a young player, maybe just like, well, I'm dead. Let's just get out of here.
I just don't want to be embarrassed anymore. So Deer picks up that first win. And we're going to jump straight into Hurricane versus Keen for game number 2. Another PvT coming your way on a 2-player map. It's going to be Echo.
It should be a bit of fun. Still, I think their best shot will be Journey versus Yoda. Yoda going to be trying to take that one, but you know, Keen, he's shown us some games recently.